After 10 years, Oda has finally confirmed that Whitebeard has a secret son, Boggy D Clown. Okay, now I'm taking a piss, but come on, we all knew it was going to be Edward Weevil. We just, well, were hoping for someone less. You know what I'm saying, right? This guy's derpy as heck, but this old decrepit lady has been yapping her mouth non-stop for years, and nobody believed her. However, after chapter 1072's revelation that once upon a time, Miss Backins looked like this.
You gonna make me act up.
Like gosh damn. Both being in Rock's crew, Whitebeard most definitely was thinking along the lines.
Legs wide open, bro.
Now, those of you who had the notification bell smashed and joined our ABD Grand Fleet would have already known that with our balls deep observation hockey, we actually predicted this and even mentioned it on our Rocksteady Zebek video. So if you ain't up to speed, don't be a silly willy. Subscribe, smash that like button and ding that notification bell. But One Piece chapter 1073 seals the deal with our theory on how exactly Weevil was created, as we are brought to Sphinx Island. Yes, before covering what's going on in Egghead, this is really important, so pay attention. We start in Whitebeard's hometown with some kids in disarray, explaining that the Marines were all over the place whilst Marco was away in Wano. As we know, Marco is the caretaker of the sanctuary that Whitebeard built, and leaving left it in danger, which he does apologize for. The Marines appeared like pirates, plundering the island, searching for Whitebeard's treasure. This may seem off, but remember, we have seen Marines be very hypocritical in the past. Like Nami's flashback for instance, Captain Nezumi worked under Arlong and took her treasure with no sense of guilt whatsoever. Likewise, now they took advantage of the fact that this island is not under the world government's jurisdiction, explaining that they have no rights here. This relates back to Whitebeard's past of his home country, not being able to pay the heavenly tribute to the government, causing them to be left poor and oppressed by the Marines. Sphinx has been in a similar state since Whitebeard died, as Newgate's influence as a Yonko had warded off any advances from the world government. After rising to the power, he obviously never paid the world government, rather used his own strength and treasure to help his people. And now, after his death and Marco, the de facto leader of the Whitebeard pirates, also gone, they were left in peril as the Marines began to threaten the elderly and children. All hope looked lost until a hero had appeared. Whitebeard's son, Edward Weevil. Now, not the hero we expected, but still a hero, as he appeared with a boom and terrified the cowardly Marines, ordering them to stay away from Pappy's home.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even?
Weevil was destroying the Marines, but the flashback ends when we hear them ordering backup to deal with him. The kid says that without Weevil, the island would have been done for. Marco concurs, saying that Weevil was a hero, not the one we deserved, but the one we needed. But soon after, none other than Miss Backins, aka Buckingham Stussy, appears, explaining that Admiral Greenbull himself was ordered to deal with Weevil, and he was going all out, causing Weevil to be captured, much to the dismay of his mother. This was showing the compassionate and kind mother she is deep down, caring for her son more than anything. But then she says that Marco has to hand over Whitebeard's inheritance. Yeah, Marco still ain't buying that Weevil is the son of his captain, even if kinda looks like him, is really super strong, and most importantly, has a white mustache. But Backins finally says she can prove that he is Whitebeard's son. That's right, and she says the Vegapunk has the answer. Yes. Yep, guys, chapter 1073 literally confirmed all of our predictions, as last week on stream and even on our Rocksteady Zebek video, we broke down how CP0 Stussy is in fact the clone of Backins, who now is revealed as Miss Buckingham Stussy. Stussy. The fact that she looks like a toad is just the way Oda draws old, worn-out characters. Though he did this representation with Hyuguro due to starvation, it's also likely possible due to menopause, I guess? But everything now lines up. Oda confirmed our theory that Weevil is in fact Whitebeard's son, but not in the traditional sense. You see, we predicted that Weevil isn't a result of Whitebeard getting it down, rather he is a test tube baby mixed with Whitebeard's DNA along with Stussy's. The Rocks pirates disbanded off the God Valley, which happened 38 years ago, but Weevil is only 35 years old, meaning he was conceived 2 to 3 years after Whitebeard and Stussy separated. So what's more likely is that this psycho purposely joined Rocks' crew to gather DNA. In the cover of chapter 1070, we see the full roster of Mads, where one of the members look eerily similar to a young Miss Backins. Now this can be Stussy, a CP0 member, having a ageless DNA factor because you know she's a clone. However, it still poses the idea that Miss Backins was affiliated to Mads 24 to 35 years ago after subjecting herself as the first test dummy, helping Mads by giving them her own DNA. She then requested to make her own child using Whitebeard's mustache hair. It sounds crazy, but come on guys, it makes sense, right? Now after all these shenanigans, you would have thought that we'd get a break from all the crazy shit Oda has been dropping, right? Well no, one of the 5 elders is finally making a move because out of basically being the server boy, yep, he's literally serving tea and snacks which were tested for poison in the process, showing us that compared to admirals, they really are on another level. Nah, obviously this makes sense as the 5 elders are also celestial dragons. Now the appearance of a goddess heading to Egghead Island wasn't so surprising to be honest, as remember guys, to take full control of the seraphims, they are needed as they have the highest authority role. But what's crazy is that Oda in chapter 1073 finally reveals one of the names of the goddess, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Very majestic indeed. Now if you guys hadn't noticed, Oda has been constantly dropping hints on the importance of planetary objects within the world of One Piece, or at least a driven concept from the Roman Greek gods. For example, Luffy represents the sun, being the sun god Nika. And let's not forget the 3 ancient weapons, Pluton, Uranus, Poseidon, and let's not forget the king of, the fish people, Neptune. It all links back to Greek mythology. Obviously Oda has used other myths and legends, but the 5 elders in Im-sama might be tied to a similar concept. But regardless, coming back we learn that Saint J has in fact met Vegapunk a long time ago, lamenting about how things have transpired since then. But speaking of Vegapunk, we head back to Egghead Island, immediately continuing with Stussy vs Lucci. She just took out an awakened Kaku with ease. She bit his neck and injected her juice inside of him. Oh my god, and put him to sleep. It seems she's a literal demon, a succubus. Now listen, this left Lucci in shock as he found it pretty hard to digest being betrayed by a CP0 agent. This, funny enough, is a direct juxtaposition of how he and CP9 betrayed the Water 7's shipwrights. He spent his entire life manipulating those around him, but now, or as the saying goes, what goes around comes around. He quickly takes the offensive and attacks Stussy, only to take out one of her after images, which is an ability she calls paper arts. Then Stussy, being a little sussy, starts flirting with Lucci whilst fighting him. She opens her lipstick and taps Lucci with it, revealing that it's made of sea prism stone. And gosh dang, that must be some concentrated shit because it shuts him down real quick as she bites him in his neck, injecting her juice inside of him too. I need to stop. Now this sea prism lipstick could allude to the fact that though Stussy is a clone, her powers are likely not a reflection of any devil fruit. Rather, the wings and her abilities might stem from her modifications that mad scientists made of Miss Backins' DNA. But if she does have a devil fruit, it's likely some succubus vampire model. Regardless, Lucci ends up taking another massive L. Yep, as Stussy latches onto him, sinking her teeth right into his neck, he he drops like a pie. Stussy then reports back to none other than Dr. Vegapunk himself. It is revealed that she was the mysterious person in which Vegapunk called so shamelessly for help in chapter 1071. Yes, it was Stussy all along. Shaka explains to the confused Straw Hats that Stussy has been an agent of the world government for 20 years, but somehow she still held her loyalty to Dr. Vegapunk. This seems to put forth a notion that Stussy probably looked at Vegapunk as a father figure. Let's not forget, Stussy is the first ever clone to be created by Mads, and from the original group we know the other members were nothing like Dr. Vegapunk. Looking at the cover page of chapter 1073, we see that Vegapunk created tanks that would shoot flowers and stuff to his own amusement, leaving the rest of Mads in shock. Caesar is all about science, and we know that Judge has no love for even his own kids. He would literally use the clones he made as a shield. And Queen, the plague, well, yeah, he just Queen. So it's highly likely that when Stussy was created as a clone, Vegapunk took care of her as his very own daughter, building a familial bond, which would explain her loyalty to Dr. Vegapunk even after 20 years of staying within the world government. Furthermore, it would also explain how Stussy know each and every detail about Egghead Island, showing that Egghead probably existed more than 20 years before the present day. Stussy even looks pretty young. I mean, gosh damn, just look at her. Her cloning by the mad scientist made her a younger Miss Backins, probably in her mid-20s, and she spent another 20 years as an agent of the world government. That would put her real age around at least mid to late 40s. Now, either she uses some insane face cream or her aging factor must have been tampered with. Vegapunk must have found a way to ignore aging issues in a clone that would explain Stussy still looking like she's in mid-20s. But coming back to the chapter, Stussy explains that her authority chip is the same as Lucci's, so she cannot override the orders that Lucci already gave to the Seraphims. This leaves Vegapunk to be the only one to take them back. Remember guys, after the authority chip holders, we have Vegapunk, then the 5 elders. Hence why Old Man St. J went out of his way to come to this island. Regardless, Lilith reaches the Seraphims, but before she could override Lucci's orders, S-Hawk targets her, getting ready to attack. However, our OG Zoro jumps into her rescue. Finally, we get to see the most awaited battle in One Piece. Zoro versus Mihawk. Okay, baby Mihawk? Does this mean if Zoro beats S-Hawk, will he become the strongest swordsman in the world? I mean, even if S-Hawk is a smaller version of the world's strongest swordsman, he still is made by Dr. Vegapunk, with a mix of ex-warlord, Lunarian DNA, and probably some more anime bullshit science inside of him. Now, I doubt this little guy is actually on Mihawk's level, as likely these Seraphims and Pacifistas do not possess Haki. Rather, they rely on sea stone weaponry. However, Zoro realizes another thing, that unlike Mihawk, there is still a hint of humanity inside of the Seraphim. A thing to note here is that Zoro is the only person who knows Mihawk best. When Mihawk was first introduced all the way back in the Baratie arc, his character and achievements were established to us by Zoro himself. So for Zoro to say that there exists a slight hint of humanity in the Seraphim's eyes might actually be more than what we think it is. These Seraphims can be said to be an extended version of the previous Pacifistas. They were pure machines, but the Seraphim probably have a consciousness and possibly even a soul. So though these chibi warlords do not possess Haki, maybe they will after the abolishment of the world government and release of these Seraphims. Henceforth, it would be possible for them to start living life as normal human beings. We actually see a foreshadowing of this with Chibi Boa's shyness towards Jinbei, and even the fact that they follow their instincts as seen when they went up the lab face without being instructed to do so. But coming back to the chapter, Edison tries to stop the fighting, but is then shot down by S-Shark. No, not you too, Edison! Lilith is absolutely in dismay. Never mind, a false alarm guys. Sanji just pops out of nowhere, saving Edison. It seems like Sanji might be just getting a bit lucky here, because for the first time we see Lilith extremely happy, showing us that she actually cares for the rest of the other satellites. Which, you know, does make sense. They are actually her and they are him, and you know how it works. No. They finally take back control of the Seraphims and then request Stussy to join them and the Straw Hats after she binds Lucci Ichi and Kaku to the Sea Stone. If things plays out right, the Straw Hat ship will be packed. They literally have all the Vegapunks leaving Atlas, along with Bonnie, possibly even Garibo, who can probably scurry his way back to the ship, and now Stussy. Be real here, what's more than likely going to happen is that apart from the main old man Vegapunk and Bonnie, everyone else is gonna die. Okay, maybe not die, but likely left behind once Admiral Kizaru and the Navy attacks. Now, whilst all of this is happening, we cut to Luffy searching for Vegapunk and Bonnie as they are about to leave the island. Unbeknownst to him, they are having their own tiffs from the previous chapter as Bonnie finds Kuma's memory, turning Dr. Vegapunk into a little kid. And with that, the chapter ends. But if you want to learn more about Bonnie's power, then check out animeexplained.com, as it's not only filled with news, quizzes, but also detailed explanation of your favorite anime series.